Greetings, friends in the Lord, and welcome to Good Friday of this year B 2024 for the celebration of the Passion. We are reflecting on the theme, the King who rose from the cross. The church proposed Isaiah chapter 52:13 to chapter 53 verse 4. Letter to the Hebrews chapter 4 verse 14 to 16 and chapter 5 verse 7 to 9. And the Gospel according to John for the Passion 18 up to chapter 9 verse 42, chapter 19 verse 42. The King who rose from the cross. On Good Friday, the Christians commemorate the arrest, the judgment, passion, crucifixion and death of Jesus Christ, which means death on the cross. The liturgy of Good Friday includes the story of the Passion narrative, the veneration of the cross, and the service of communion. And as you know, the service of the cross is an attached devotion that came along the way, the one we do before the celebration proper. On speaking about the King who rose from the cross, the second reading especially helps us reflect on the leadership of the new alliance, the new covenant. On this day, the Holy Mother Church leads us to a crossroad of grace. And seated on this crossroad, she encourages us to reflect on our condition after the humanity's first official independence, the moving out from the city of God into the city of man through the disobedience of Adam and Eve, lured into sin by Satan, represented by the serpent. From here, we might now remember what that independence, that autonomy cost humanity. Genesis chapter 3. But God, in his infinite mercy and compassion, started a reparation process. He started a reparation process. He chose a particular people. We saw Noah, we saw Abraham, we saw Isaac, we saw Jacob, we saw the Egypt experience, we saw the Exodus, we saw the desert experience, we saw the entrance to the promised land and how it was done. Now, man still in this continuous rebellious act still felt that God's leadership is not the best. And in 1 Samuel chapter 8, Israel sought for a king like every other nation. And God told Samuel, they did not reject you, but they rejected me. They don't want me to be their Lord and Master again. Give them king as they wished, but then tell them the rights of the king. Today we are reflecting on the kingdom, the leadership that has the best of all. And the 4th, 7th song as presented by the Deutero Isaiah will help us to understand this new covenant. That is the first reading. In this system of leadership, as Jesus is giving us through his sacrificial death on the cross, the king, as I said, rules from the cross. Is a kingdom of sacrifice, where the king no longer sends people to war and stays behind. He becomes the victim himself. The master bears the servant's faults. The master heals the servant's wounds. In this system of government and leadership, the weak are stronger than the powerful. And John the Evangelist tells us how mere mention of Jesus' name pulled down the soldiers. Today we have seen when the soldiers came to the garden to arrest Jesus, he said, "Who are you looking for?" They said, "Jesus of Nazareth." He said, "I am he." And they moved back and fell. But it was not about the might that Jesus needed to save us. He needed to pass through the weakness of God to set us free. He had to disconnect himself from the eternal high tension that nobody can touch and live, and assumed the life, the flesh of humanity, so that he could die, so that he could be touched. He stripped himself off of that divinity. He did not grab it with two hands so that he could be insulted, so that he could be made weak, so that he could die to set us free. That is what we are celebrating today. Jesus did not choose the powerful models to save us, but the weak model. Therefore, all who remain under him, under his governance, under this new and everlasting covenant, will never experience slavery. And the slavery of all slavery is slavery in sin. And we are living out that victory by venerating the cross upon which our Lord died and made a signature of our delivery from slavery of sin and darkness. And that brings us to the second part of this celebration. The veneration of the cross has its origin in 326 in a pilgrimage to Jerusalem. Saint Helena found a piece of the original cross. Since then, every Friday, Catholics venerate the Holy Cross. But then there is a practice attached to it. The practice was that the bishop would place the relic of the Holy Cross on a table in the chapel of crucifixion. Believers would approach it by touching their foreheads, their eyes, their lips on the wood of the cross, as the priest would say, "Behold the cross, the wood of the cross." As we were saying, "Ecelinum crucis imposalos mundi pendit." We respond, "Venite adoremus." Behold the wood of the cross on which our Lord was crucified. Come, let us adore him. Because Catholics worship a crucifix, on this day, it is made clear that the crucifix does not attract a similar honor of latria, of dulia, neither of hyperdulia, but latria, because it is about God himself. So it is not placed at the same level with other relics, other images. It is different from others. It does not mean that we worship an object because you see it as a wood that a carpenter prepared. Religion goes with symbols. Religion goes with signs. Every religion that is rid of symbols and signs is empty and will not last. Because man is a man of symbol. Symbolism is necessary for the human life, and religion is part of human life. On this day, we do not worship a wood. We worship what it represents. As you can see in the Eucharist, what you see is the bread fabricated by a baker in a special way. But once it is consecrated, we are not looking at a bread. Through the mystery of transubstantiation, the form remains, because it's not transformation, it's transubstantiation. The form remains, but the substance is transformed. So when we take the Holy Eucharist, we are not looking at the bread, we are looking at what it has become. God himself, Jesus' blood, Jesus' body. Now we venerate what the cross represents, and that is God. By kneeling before a crucifix and kissing it, we honor the cross of our Lord as the instrument of our salvation. Since the cross is inseparable from the sacrifice of Jesus, by showing reverence to the Holy Cross, we indeed worship our Lord Jesus Christ. So you can understand that the crucifix does not receive the honor of dulia or hyperdulia, but the honor of latria, because it is about God the Son, who is part of the Holy Trinity. And that is why we affirm, we adore you, O Christ, and we bless you, because through your holy cross you have redeemed the world. And what do? We genuflect. When you genuflect before the cross, we say, we adore you, O Christ, and we bless you, because by your holy cross you have redeemed the world. We do not say we adore you whenever we are closer to any image, statue, or the Blessed Sacrament. We adore you to the Eucharist during adoration. We adore you to the cross, because it is about Christ and not a mere image or mere object. And the honor is the honor of adoration, what we call latria. And that is where our salvation came. For the Jews, it is shameful thing. For the Greeks, it is stupidity. For us, it is the demonstration of the power of God. It is our faith. It is the wisdom of God. And every Christian, every Catholic should be proud of that. And that is why Peter will tell you in 1 Peter chapter 3 to be ready with evidence to support your faith at every time. And that is why, as a Christian, as you are growing, you should be going beyond the level of signs and wonders and know why of the faith and the how of the faith. That why of the faith and how of the faith is what will keep you going when the days of signs and wonders will go dry. Because of course they will go dry. And that's why Paul will tell us that it is about love, faith, and hope. These are the three that will last. May God bless us.